What's up, guys? We are at a home game locally that I got invited to, a 2-5 game, so we're upping the stakes. Let's get into this action. So we sit down in our first 2-5 game for the vlog with $400. We don't see too many hands really playable. The action at the table is great until we pick up Queen Jack offsuit. We dwindled down a little bit, so our stack's about 340. We are in the big blind. There are 4 limpers, and the small blind completes, and I don't really see any real reason for squeezing here or raising, so we just check, and we go to a flop of 5 Jack 5. I immediately develop a plan for this hand and go ahead and check. Middle position bets $10. There is a 1 fold. Middle to late position calls the $10. There are 2 folds. Now I have decided to check this flop with the intention to raise. Since the table seems fairly loose and I'm in the big blind, my range is very open to any 2. Plus I thought it would give me a much better idea of where my opponent's ranges were depending on how they reacted to my check raise, so I make it 45. And as you can see, both players end up calling. So there is a possibility that both players do not believe I have a jack or 5, and I think it's likely one player may have a jack and a pair of 6s, 7s, something along those lines, middling. The turn card comes an ace, and I kind of think this is a good card for me to continuation bet if those ranges are correct. So I kind of make a small bet, 45, just because either they have the ace or they don't, and either they're scared of it or they're not, so I don't think I need to bet a large amount here. As you can see, both players call, and I don't think we're ever good here now at this point, so the river comes a blank. We end up checking, and middle position bets like 100. Late position player calls the 100, and we pretty easily and quickly fold. One player had Queen 5, the middle position player, and the late position player had Ace Jack. We were dominated. We go back to mostly folding before we pick up a playable hand of King Jack offsuit, and we decide to limp. And the only reason I do this is because the player in the big blind, who has been straddling every single hand from every position if no one else straddles, raises it every time, which he does raise here to 25, and we go ahead and make the call along with one other player. I can't even begin to tell you how much action this game is. I've seen people put stacks in with 3rd pair and get called by 4th pair. So the flop comes down in this hand, King Deuce 5, pretty good flop for us. Top pair in this game seems like a royal flush, and the original raiser, the big blind, he bets out 25. We instantly make it 100. The other player quickly folds, and I think I balance here a lot with calls and check raises, player dependent. This guy's just so wild and crazy. I'm never folding top pair here. But in a 3-bet pot, 100% of the time, I'm folding King Jack because top pair is almost never good here, but just not against this guy. Unfortunately, though, he ends up waking up with a hand, and he shows us Ace King. The run out does not give us lucky, and we lose, so we end up having to rebuy for 400 again, and now we're back in the action. And what amazing action it is, as you can tell from these amazing hands I'm getting. Then we wake up to our arch nemesis King Jack. F this hand, we're just going to barrel it off. So we raise pre-flop $50. We get 2 callers. We absolutely whiff the flop. The early position player bets out $5, and the other player calls $5. So now it's on us, and I think that this is a pretty clear raise here to take it down. Neither of these players probably have much. It's a super weird bet. So we go ahead and make it $80, and they both fold, and we pick one up. Then we end up losing a hand with pocket 9s where we raise, get called, call a flop bet, and fold turn. Now we have Queen 5 of hearts, and the action player is straddling again, so it comes to us, and we elect to call the $10 with Queen 5 of hearts because, you know, we're just going to outplay this guy this hand. And of course he does what he always does and raises it up to $30, I think, and we make the call. Then we drop our camera, and the action is as follows. Flop comes 3 hearts, bink, and I told you we were going to outplay this guy this hand. So he leads out into us, and we jam all in for approximately 300, and he takes a very, very, very long time to think about it, and eventually decides on a fold. The next hand we're going over is pretty much our first real hand of the night. We pick up Ace King offsuit on the button. There's a raise to $30, and then there is a 3-bet to $90. It's on us, and I think we only have one move here, which is to ship it all in after the 3-bet to 90, so we go ahead and do that. Although the vlog might not show it, I've been playing really tight. We're about 4 hours in, so everyone believes I have monster and folds, and we pick up this nice little $120 pot. The very next hand, as soon as we finish stacking these chips, we are in the cutoff, and we've been praying and praying for some run good, so I think the poker gods blessed us, and they give us pocket rockets. There's a straddle on the button. Small blind calls, the big blind calls, and the under the gun player calls the straddle. Everyone folds around to us, and we are clearly going to raise aces, and we make it $90. The button fairly quickly folds. The small blind comes along for the 90, and the other two players fold. We are off to a flop of king 8-10. The small blind checks it over to us, and we are always going to continuation bet this, especially against this player. He has a fairly large stack, but he is very, very loose, and I've been warned about him previously to his wide range pre-flop. So we go ahead and bet $250, and he thinks for a minute and elects on the fold, and we pick one up. We have a pretty good stack now, about $650. And the next hand, I'm not really going to go over fully. I just want to show you that I can make folds occasionally. There was a raise pre-flop we called, and then we bet 30 on the flop with a top pair of aces, and a guy raised to 130 on us, and we laid it down. Now here comes the last best interesting hand of the night. We have pocket queens on the button, which couldn't be a better time. And holy shit, we almost just flipped our hand over like a noob donkey. Wow, that would have been bad. There is a raise to $25 and a call, and it is on us on the button, and we are going to 3-bet this to $100, and apparently the player to our left doesn't like that. Not that it matters, because he's going to fold anyways. But the big blind is going to call our $100 raise. The original raiser folds, and the player in the cutoff also calls the $100. So we're 3 ways to a flop of ace, queen, 10, rainbow. This is a great flop for us. We're in position to 2 players, and they both check to us. Now we have a decision as to what sizing we would like to go with. I think this flop could have possibly hit one of my opponents, but I really don't want to bet him out. I want to get some value, so I just bet 1/3 pot here. I make $100 and also tilt my camera even lower so you guys can't see the action. And the small blind ends up calling, and the cutoff folds. The turn card is the 7 of clubs, which it doesn't really change much at all. And once again, the small blind checks to us. I think with our stack size here, it's pretty simple. We have a shove, which we go ahead and do, and he thinks for quite a while and then ends up on the fold. I mean, I'm begging for a call here. I end up showing him and asking him what he had out of curiosity, and he said he had 7-8 offsuit. I guess we should have bet $25 on the turn and prayed for a call. I don't know. A few hands after this, we get into a hand with a guy who was straddling every hand and raising every hand. It's pretty interesting. I'm really upset that I didn't get it recorded. We ended up hero calling on a board of king 8, deuce 5, 10 with a pair of 8s to his $200 river bet, and he had nothing, which was great. I've been wanting to mix it up with him, so we get our stack up pretty nice. We end up playing a little bit more, losing a few hands, and cashing out for $1,230. And after being in this game for $800, I'm more than happy to cash out with a profit for the first 2-5 game of the vlog.